My name is Lorraine. I'm 72 years old, and I live alone in the house my late husband built with his own hands. We moved into this small Vermont cottage when I was in my 30s, when the kids were still young and everything smelled like pine wood and possibility. It's been 11 years since William passed, and somehow, despite the quiet, I never really noticed how loud the silence had become. Until that one afternoon. It wasn't a dramatic moment. There were no storm clouds or tragic letters, just a quiet Sunday in early autumn. The kind where the wind whistles just enough to remind you the world is still moving. I had been folding laundry and decided, for once, to take a nap in the sunroom. I didn't bother putting on clothes. I'd been living alone for over a decade, and the privacy of that space was sacred. It was just me, a linen robe, the filtered sunlight, and the rustle of leaves. Then the door creaked. First I thought it was the wind. But then a voice called out, hesitant and low. "Hello." Froze. I knew that voice. It was David, the son of my old friend Martha, who'd promised to stop by sometime this week to help replace the leaking faucet. I hadn't realized it was today. My robe was slung over the edge of the couch. I sat completely exposed under the soft throw I had half pulled over my legs. "David," I called, my voice shakier than I expected. "I didn't hear you come in." There was a pause, an awkward shuffle of shoes on hardwood. Oh, I'm sorry, Lorraine, I should have knocked. Your door was open and... I pulled the throw up quickly, heart pounding for reasons that had nothing to do with fear. I wasn't scared, but I felt seen. And that startled me. I hadn't felt that in years. Not since William. Not since grief swallowed everything in its quiet, unrelenting way. "It's fine," I said gently, trying to smile. "Just give me a moment." David excused himself to the kitchen, and I slipped into something comfortable. Modest, cotton, familiar. But the feeling lingered. Something had stirred. Not from the awkwardness of the moment, but from what it revealed to me. I had forgotten how vulnerable I was beneath the surface of routine. Later that day, after David left with the sink fixed and a shy, apologetic smile on his face, I sat by the window for hours. I wasn't thinking about him. I was thinking about myself. How I had gone invisible, even to my own reflection. I had stopped painting, stopped writing, stopped calling my daughter after dinner. I had become a caretaker of memories instead of a creator of new ones. That evening I pulled out my old easel. The paints were dry, but the brush still felt familiar between my fingers. I painted until the sky went dark and my joints ached. It wasn't beautiful. It didn't need to be. Just needed to be mine. The next morning I went through the closet and pulled out a yellow sundress I hadn't worn in 15 years. It was too bright for the season. Too open at the chest. Too cheerful. I wore it anyway and walked to the town bakery, where I hadn't been in over a year. Margaret, the owner, raised her brows and gave me the coffee on the house. "You look like someone who just remembered something important," she said. "I think I did," I replied. Over the next few weeks, I became something of a regular again. I brought my sketchbook with me. I smiled at people. I went to the farmer's market and let a man named Howard talk my ear off about apples. I didn't care for apples, but I liked his laugh. I called my daughter and apologized for being so distant. She cried and told me she thought I didn't want to talk anymore. We began a new tradition. Sunday evening phone calls, just like when she was in college. Then one morning, I opened a letter I had tucked away years ago. It was from William, written during the last few weeks of his illness. He wrote, "Promise me you won't disappear into this house when I'm gone. Let yourself be seen, even if it's uncomfortable. Especially then." That sentence broke something open inside me. I had done the exact opposite. I had hidden beneath grief and routine and the illusion of solitude. But the truth is, we are never truly done becoming ourselves. I started journaling again. Not just about the past, but about who I wanted to be now. Not a shadow of who I had been, but a version of myself that still had something to say. The robe stayed in the closet for a while after that day. But eventually I brought it back out, not to hide in but to wear on purpose. I started painting myself just like I was. Wrinkles, soft belly, all of it. My body wasn't something to cover anymore. It was something that had held a lifetime of love, loss, and becoming. And every so often, when the wind shifts just right and I hear the door creak, I smile instead of freeze. Not because I expect anyone, but because I've stopped hiding from myself.